We see for 18 years no significant recorded warming. We see no response from the Democratic senators. If we look to the raw data, according to the raw data in 1940, it appears from this chart, the 5-year mean temperature was higher than it is in recent time. But once you adjust it, if you subtract from the old temperatures and add to the new ones, then you can have measurements that reflect your theory. Dr. Happer, you wanted to comment on this.
Yeah, I just wanted to say one more thing about the satellite data, and that is that they are cross-calibrated with weather balloons all over the world. And so it's not simply a couple of groups measuring satellites. There's a quality check that goes on there, and there's no similar thing to the surface data that I know of.
It's a very good point, and indeed Dr. Christie's chart, as he described, was an average of several measurements of both the satellites and the weather balloon. If we can move to the next two charts, I want to, the final line of questioning I want to address is the effect of censorship, of dogmatism, of intimidation. So both of these come from BarackObama.com, a website I will admit I don't spend a lot of time perusing. On BarackObama.com, the President of the United States is issuing a call out the climate deniers. Too many of our elected officials deny the science of climate change. Along with their polluter allies, they are blocking progress in the fight against climate change. Find the deniers near you. Find the heretics and call them out today. And indeed, they show a number. And I will say, when I first looked at that chart, I was quite disappointed. I thought I was omitted, but then I discovered I am indeed included, along with a number of other elected officials. Indeed, I might note a number of elected officials. What does it do to scientific debate when anyone who dares question political ideology is branded a denier and a heretic? What are the consequences in the academic world when that occurs? Dr. Curry.
There's a chilling effect, okay? People keep their heads down. They look for opportunities just to do something else and to move on, retire, get out of the business. I've talked to any number of scientists who have done this, young, recent PhD recipients on up to very senior scientists. It has a very chilling effect. As a tenured scientist who's relatively senior, I felt sufficiently secure to speak out. But younger scientists who are not tenured, fear for their jobs. They have mortgage payments, whatever, and and kids to support. They can't afford to speak out. The social contract currently between the Obama administration and climate scientists is, if you say alarming things, you'll get plenty of funding. That seems to be how it's working. And that is very, very pernicious for science.
And do you get funded if you're researching anything other than the orthodoxy of global warming alarmism?
I'm no longer applying for government grants. I can't get funded to do anything I want.
Let me speak more in the aggregate. Does one get funded if one is a scientist and one, I recall being back in high school and studying science, the scientific method, that you started with an hypothesis and then you look to evidence to prove or disprove the hypothesis, and often disproving it is the more useful thing to try to do. Do those who are actually trying to disprove the hypotheses, mind you, the hypotheses that will drive up the electric bills and the cost of living for millions of Americans, will hurt people who are struggling, will hurt single moms, will hurt Hispanics, will hurt African Americans, does anyone doing any research that might contradict the political dogma, are they at all likely to get funding?
Okay, the issue is this. The funding agencies do a call for proposals or an announcement of opportunity, and they're already implicitly assuming that human-caused climate change is dangerous. There's not even an opportunity or something that even makes sense to write, to submit a proposal to. Right. So that's the real problem. So a lot of the skeptical research is really being conducted by independent scientists who are not asking for any government funding.
Okay, so